and welcome back to my channel. And welcome to a video that I have done a couple times before already on my channel. I will leave any of those linked down below. If any of y'all have been on this channel for a fair amount of time, you know that there is very little your girl loves more to do than anti-haul. And recently, I have been doing an excessive amount of the anti-hauling. Due in part to the fact that companies are just continuously releasing random, pointless, and excessive over amount of shiz. And simply because doing sort of sassy anti-consumeristic rhetoric makes my little heart go pity-pat. But with that being said, amidst the anti-hauling, there are occasionally items that I anti-haul because, you know, deep down inside my deep, dark, makeup-loving depths, I would love to actually own this item for one reason or another. And occasionally, we talk about something that I think is absolutely stupid and I buy it anyway. I would like to think that this channel is somewhat of a safe place where I can admit my faults, admit my mistakes, and so today, we're going to be talking about things that I anti-hauled for one reason or another, that I went ahead and bought anyway because I have issues and I don't have a hypothalamus. We got some things where it's like, oh yeah, definitely, bomb diggity shiznit. We do have some other things where it's like, yeah, you know, you kind of shouldn't have done it. Hindsight is all sorts of 2020, so hindsight 2020. But we're just gonna get on into these things. I am going to admit it right now. I have enough products where I'm probably going to be filming another one of these. Gonna try to get through as many as I can in this video. This is sort of skewing kind of like a mini review, just discuss. We're just gonna get into it. We're gonna start off with some Colourpop products. Spoiler alert, there are a lot of Colourpop products on this list because y'all know that Colourpop loves to release stuff. They are worse than Too Faced. I feel like when it comes to just the sheer amount of releases that are being done, Colourpop is probably the worst offender on the market right now. They just be releasing stuff every other day. It is intense. It is insane. Your girl anti-hauled, and then I believe there was some kind of sale or something that imbibed my weakness. And I bought some blushes. Now, I didn't go in on entire collections. I believe when I anti-hauled these, I just anti-hauled the whole shebang bang. Because your girl don't need an eyeshadow palette, blush, bronzer, lip products, glosses, you know. So I was just like, you know, I have an unhealthy obsession with blushes. So we'll just go in on the blushes. That's healthy. Sort of like the happy medium. I told myself so that I could justify buying these things because y'all know your girl in 2020 was trying real hard not to be bringing no more single blush and highlighters in. But y'all would have seen these particular two. This is from the Mulan collection. We have Good Luck Charm right here and Matchmaker right here. Y'all would have seen these in my October hits and misses, and these are absolutely beautiful blushes. Say what you will about Colourpop releasing an excessive, absurd amount of items. For some reason, when it comes to their collaboration blushes, I've tried their single pan ones where you just buy them and you get them in a compact. Not a huge fan of those, but every single collaboration blush or collection blush that I have that already comes in a fancy compact, I have absolutely loved. I love these. I love the Sailor Moon ones that I have. I love one of y'all sent me the Disney designer Midnight Masquerade situation. Those are amazing. Absolutely love these. And then, you know, if 2 is good, then I suppose 5 is better. We have got here, these are, I don't even know what collection this is. I think this was like, it had a lot of flowers and shiz in it. They all start to kind of blend together. But this one here is in Night Bloom, which is this beautiful, like violety lilac-y shade. It's got a nice little flower pressed into it and everything. Then we have Desert Rose, which is this beautiful peachy sort of exact shade of my wig going on. And then Tearing Up My Heart, which is this absolutely perfect, light, subtle, just enough of a hint of peach, just a touch of color to sort of warm up those cheeks and give you a little bit of life. Second verse, same as the first. I absolutely love these. Like I said, Colourpop releases way too much shiz. 2021, I need to be strong. 2020 was a very good sort of start to kind of like, all right, this is what we're going to be up against. We're bolstering ourselves up from not needing or not wanting to buy all the useless crap, like all the single blushes that Colourpop releases with every single collection that they release every other week. But that being said, at least these were a really nice experience, really nice quality. Absolutely love these. Wonderful for the price point. Then something else that was in those hits and misses and at a much higher price point. Milk Cosmetics, which is a brand that I feel has sort of come in and kind of replaced the whole KVD alternative aesthetic. And while KVD is kind of struggling with an identity crisis, you know, Melt is just coming out here and releasing all these bangers of products. One of which being the Digital Dust Blush Duos. Didn't already know, your girl is a slut for single blushes. If you didn't know, your girl is an even bigger slut for single blush duos. And your girl is an even bigger slut for single blush duos that have an illuminating glossy effect to them. And boy, do these compacts have that shiz in spades. This one here is my absolute fave in Buzzkill. If you love or even like a glossy, glowy, shimmery, healthy, hydrating, sheeny, peachy, goldy blush, go out and buy this shiz. You will not be disappointed. I would say that this formula is actually superior to the Digital Dust Highlighter formula, which I love, don't get me wrong. But this shiz just looks so ethereal, so magical, so smoothie smooth and glorious upon your complexion. I need them to release this shiz in like 1,000 different colorways. This one here is in Queen Bee. They look so intimidating and dark and deep, which I will say for my boys and gals and theys and thems of the deeper, dark, delicious melanin, this is your shiz, rock this up. But for someone who is much more pasty and, I don't know, Caucasianly leaning, I love taking this shiz, and if I've got kind of like one of those, like the Mulan blushes from Colourpop that need just a little extra bit of dimension, I'ma pop this shiz all over up on them high points on my cheekbones. I absolutely love this one over a blush kind of like Tarte's Exposed, where it's really that kind of like neutral, goes with everything. My favorite thing to do right now is start with a matte blush, and then I'll bring in something like this and do it just like that, and then we'll do highlighter on top of that, and we are just a 3-layer level burrito of absolute glorious, smooth, ethereal, and otherworldliness, and vaguely threatening. If that's something that y'all are into, absolutely recommend these. They are pricey. They are $39, but in my opinion, this shiz is worth every single blink and penny. I'm not even sure what I was expecting, but whatever I was expecting, it was blown out of the water. These are beautiful, glorious, stunning. This is one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have spent the money, but oh boy, do my complexion be looking poppin' when I use these. Now let's talk about some things that I've anti-hauled but bought that I don't actually have on my person. I am in Tennessee. The majority of my makeup is still in Virginia, as we are still unaware of how long I'm gonna be in Tennessee, so we are in that kind of transitionary period. But a couple of palettes I wanted to talk about that I most definitely anti-hauled and then I most definitely purchased. The Natasha Denona Love and the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. Now, your girl is usually typically pretty good at anti-hauling Natasha Denona products because she likes to place hers at sort of a kind of a higher price point tier level than typically I like to spend. But she had been starting to do this thing where she was releasing these $65 palettes. And I was like, all right, $65 is still disgustingly, exorbitantly expensive. But it was definitely a lot less offensive when you take into consideration the fact that her other palettes are typically $129. Not that that makes it any better. It's still way too much money than anybody should be paying for an eyeshadow palette. And I anti-hauled them. I was like, you know, they're kind of pretty. They're kind of pricey. The bronze palette I anti-hauled because I was like, girl, you really gonna be wearing bronze shades? And let me tell you, for any of y'all who have seen my reviews of those palettes, I will leave them down below if my like teeny tiny 2 brain cell mind can remember. Those palettes are so good. I don't know what she is doing to her $65 palette formulas that she isn't doing in her $129 ones. But whatever it is she is doing in the $65 ones, she is doing it right. Y'all know your girl is a matte color lover. I've said it once, I will say it 1,000 billion times. The mattes make up a backbone of a palette. Y'all, the shimmers she has formulated in the Love and the Bronze and the Glam palette are some of the most amazing shimmers I have ever worked with. And that's saying a lot because, like I said, your girl isn't necessarily a huge, yeah, I like shimmer, but mattes are my shiznit. And these are just so easy to work with. They're user-friendly. They're ka-cha-cha-cha-cha. You can apply them with a brush. You can apply them with a finger. You don't need a tacky primer. You don't need an eye primer to make them all kinds of amazing. They do what they're supposed to when they're told to and without any kind of fuss. And the mattes are really, really good as well. All in all, I would say for a sophisticated eyeshadow lover, the Natasha Denona $65 palettes are really good investments. I believe in the majority of them, there aren't any shades that I don't love or use or enjoy. She doesn't have the audacity to put pressed glitters in them, so thank God for that. We know that that's something that Huda Beauty likes to do, but these, they're just for $65. Yes, that's a lot of money, but I would recommend them over Huda Beauty. I would say if you're interested in some of the Jeffree Star color stories, but you're like, you know, not wanting to go on that thing, would highly, highly recommend these. They're just such a beautiful, nice, like that, experiencing the $65 Natasha Denona price point palettes is kind of the experience I expect to get from a luxury, higher end price point palette. It is a good time had all around by everyone. And I feel like at the beginning of starting to review them, I kind of was like, going into it pretty like with a bit of trepidation. We've gotten to the point where she comes out with one of those $65 palettes. So I'm like, all right, slap that shiz in my cart, check out, and let's review it. And I have not been disappointed by any of the ones she has released. I would recommend all of them. Now let's talk about an eyeshadow palette that I got. I mean, y'all are gonna come for me so bad in the comments below. I understand how it looks. It's another Colourpop item. Y'all may remember back when Colourpop was like, all right, we're gonna be the new Morphe, which I feel like they kind of are in the sense of they're the ones doing all the collaborations now. They're the ones pushing out all the products, and they're the ones who are making big, giant eyeshadow palettes. When I saw these, I was like, yo, this is the stupidest shiz that ever existed. You have these shades. This is dumb. This is stupid. Don't buy this shiz. I still kind of stand by my word, but now it's a do as I say, not as I do, because I bought that shiz. Both of them. I bought the, what do I even have the names of them? I don't know. It's just their first two 35 shade palettes. I'm kind of interested in mention the Stone Cold Fox one because it's got those cool tones. A couple of y'all wanted me to do a comparison between it and the Jeffree Star Cremated. And I mean, these palettes are okay. Y'all know that I am a fan. I'm an advocate for the Colourpop eyeshadow formula. They're singles. And they're the monochromatic palettes. I'm wearing Main Squeeze and Strawberry Shake on my eyes today. But I feel like for these palettes, kind of with a lot of the large ones, same with like Morphe, is there's just so much repetition. And for having so many shades, I don't feel like I'm getting the amount of depth I deserve for having an eyeshadow palette that's chock full of so much stuff. I feel like online it looked like it had just a little bit of better gradation than it does in person. I was like, oh boy, we're gonna get all kinds of neutral and dark and decadent and delicious. And then I opened it and I was like, or not. The other one, I think the one is Bare Necessities, and the other one is kind of like got a couple of different kind of funner colors thrown in, kind of like a maroony and a magenta and a purpley shade, maybe like a green shimmer. There's a lot of shimmer, not a huge, I mean, the matte shimmer ratio, could be the best. It could be better. Obviously, this is my own fault. It's not like I went into this blind. I knew exactly what I was getting into. It was probably, I think it was like a bundle sale. And I was like, might as well. We're going to be trying real hard to not do that 2021. That's just got to stop. And like, they're okay. I'm working on kind of like using them more, but on like initial just like receiving and using, they weren't anything that I was like, holy heck, I'm shiznit. I'm eating my words. These are the most amazing palettes that were ever created. I don't think the eyeshadow formula is exactly the same as their singles or their monochromatic palettes. They seem a bit more powdery, dusty, don't want to like blend out. Is it like they're okay? The color variation for like how many shades you get, I just expected to have a bit more considering how much we got. And I feel like online they did look like they were a bit more. This was definitely one of those things that my money could have been spent in a better way. I'm kind of glad that I know now. It definitely might fall into a products I shouldn't have bought. I mean, I anti-hauled it. Anything that I anti-haul that I do purchase, I feel just kind of falls into the, you shouldn't have bought it. You should have just left it there. And so I know a lot of people really, really love those palettes. Like I said, I'm kind of interested, at least tone color-wise, by the Stone Cold Fox one, because I've been kind of living my best cool tone life recently, living my best neutral life, but I feel like that's not something that's gonna happen anytime soon, sort of based on what I've experienced with these first two ones. They are nice and heavy. You pull them out and you're like, wow, this has got a lot of like quality and whatever to it. So it feels all kinds of heavy duty, but just as an overall eyeshadow experience, not something I'm gonna write home about. Okay, let's talk about two highlighters. You're all like, wait, what? Anti-hauled it but bought it? Highlighters? Say it ain't so. Y'all know it's so, and y'all know it's gonna continue to be so until the end of time on my channel, because if there is anything your girl loves, buying highlighters she doesn't need with money she doesn't have. And these are two things that I anti-hauled. I may have talked about them in a roasting my past makeup purchases or a products I shouldn't have bought. But anyway, two highlighters that I anti-hauled from the same company. Can you guess? Can you leave your guess down below? I'll wait. Obviously, it's gonna be from Too Faced. And we have the Glowver Puppy Love highlighter, as well as the Too Faced Pretty Mess How Many F's Do I Give highlighter. These are two highlighters in really ostentatious, oversized packaging. I feel like that's just the Too Faced rhetoric at this point. If it can't be put up into a giant lit kind of like expensive carnival float situation, Too Faced isn't gonna market it to us. It's gotta have lots of flashing lights and bells and whistles and moving parts. I I anti-hauled these for different reasons. The Too Faced, the Glowver one, clearly because it's just a gimmick. It's just a look. It's a little puppy dog highlighter, and that's literally the only thing it has going for it. We're not selling this to you because we've got a full blinking range of this amazing new highlighter formula. No, 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 no. We're selling it to you because it's got a cute little puppy dog face on it. You open the compact up and look! It's got a cute little puppy dog face pressed into the highlighter. And I anti-hauled it and I said it was stupid, and then I bought it anyway because I'm stupid. And it was okay. I have since decluttered it. I didn't have it in me. The headache it gave me, I told y'all this was gonna happen. I said I'm gonna buy this thing, which I did. The compact was like yay big. It was ginormous. It was huge. And I'm gonna buy this shiz, and then I'm gonna whine about it and complain about it and just sit here and blah about how difficult it is to store, and then I'm gonna declutter it. And that's exactly what happened because I'm stupid. And then the how many F's do I give was a far superior highlighter formula. If they could take that formula, whatever it is they did for that, and turn it into like a line of highlighters, I would stop giving Too Faced all the shiz I do for having absolutely awfully inconsistent highlighter formulas. It's like they're never able to do the same thing twice. They're just like, every time we release a new highlighter, it's just kind of like a crapshoot going on here. God only knows what we're gonna get, but I guess we'll see if it's okay. It was really smooth and beautiful and ka-cha-cha-cha-cha. It was a very nice formula, but it was huge. It was, again, one of those things. I know this seems really dumb. I'm gonna have someone in the comments be like, well, you're just stupid. And I'm just like, yeah, that's why we're here having this conversation right now. I'm admitting my moronicness. And that ended up getting decluttered. Like, the formula was great. It was really nice, but it wasn't something that I was reaching for so many times out of everything else that I had that it was worth holding on to. It just wasn't one of those things that brought me joy. I just kind of looked at it and I'm like, I paid way too much money for you. You're pretty, but I really don't want to deal with you. The thought of not having to deal with it in my collection brought me more joy than the thought of continuing to have it. I understand I have a weird mental dichotomy and everything like that, but that's how it went down for me. So, you know, I feel like with Too Faced, those things were kind of like that. I mean, Too Faced has just continuously had nails in their mainstream coffin for me. I'm just really not checking for them. They release something and I'm like, I absolutely could not care less. And this was kind of one of those things that was like, yep, if even a highlighter cannot save a brand for Soraya, clearly, it's just time to jump ship. Just let it go. Salute the shiz out of that thing. Thank it for the good times and move on to better things. But that is what I have time for in this video. Like I said, I got more things on this list than I probably would like to admit. End of 2020 was kind of a weak point for me. We were kind of like, you know what? Just screw it, which is how I'm not trying to be for my low buy in 2021. But I figured if I got these things, I might as well talk about them. I like letting y'all know the real truth behind what I purchase, what I advocate for. Would love to hear what y'all have to say about these particular products and everything like that, as well as something that you anti-hauled, but you bought it for whatever reason. No judgment, clearly. I am not one to judge on any level. So let us know something that you anti-hauled but bought and how it turned out for you. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!